The earth is our mother. She will take care of us. The earth is our mother. She will take care of us. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. The sacred ground we walk upon with every step we take. Her sacred ground we walk upon with every step we take. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. If you like singing that with me, you can. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. The earth is our mother. We will take care of her. The earth is our mother. We will take care of her. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan.
We are blessed this morning to have Rebecca Abraxas, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. Abraxas with us. She's been here before, and she has done an awesome job with all of her different instruments, and so we are delighted to have her here this morning. Let's give her another. Well, welcome to Unity on the Avenue. You are here on a very special day. You know what tomorrow is? Earth Day. Good for you, you know. And so whether we're looking at our beautiful blue marble circling around as it lives in our midst, we are also having a special service in that Lori, Penny, our licensed teacher, and Lori, our almost licensed teacher, also prayer chaplains, have been running a spirit group for caring for the earth. And our theme for the whole month of April is Circle Up to Care for the Earth. So this today is all about how we can become part of the solution. And we have presenters of Mark and Ellen and Donalyn and Eustaine and Nina, and then of course Lori and Penny. So it's a special morning, 12 powers for our planet. So you may join me in our statement of faith. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in our life. God, the good, omnipotent.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. Surely I see the glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
So now, as we enter this holy time of prayer, I invite you to just relax and feel your feet on the floor, grounded to Mother Earth. Just feel this vibrational energy as you begin to breathe in and to breathe out in rhythm of the earth's rhythm. And allow these words to become your words. My loving thoughts and actions are an extension of myself, reaching out to bless me, my life, my relationships, and my community. As I breathe in and out, and I feel these vibrations, I extend my blessings to include the entire planet. My thoughtful choices bless this earth. There is a connectivity that is inescapable. Each person here, each person on this planet is like an individual tree that grows into an aspen grove. No tree is solitary. No tree is independent. On this earth, we are like that aspen grove. We share the same root system. Everything in nature is here to support me. I am nourished. I am sustained by the abundance of God's resources, and I am the caretaker. There is always enough. This magnificent planet blesses me with the food I eat, the water I drink, and the oxygen I breathe. I am part of this beautiful web of life, intricately woven so that my actions impact the entire web. So therefore, I am a good steward of the earth's resources, and I'm a good steward of my own body. And centered in God's divine power of wisdom, I use what I need in ways that support the renewal of the earth. And during this time, I experience the peace of living in harmony with the earth, just like an aspen tree. I honor and celebrate the skies, the seas, the sands, along with the plants and animals. I'm always cognizant and taking wise actions that allow my blessings to travel for future generations. My eyes are open to the oneness of life, and I truly accept my responsibility to this earth with grace and with ease. And for this, dear God, I am so thankful that this is my beautiful, wonderful home. And I can feel this vibration in my body right now. And so it is. Amen.
A lot's going down today. Keep loving, keep giving. This may take some forgiving. And don't let them take your power away. No, we can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. We could change the world. giving, keep getting up when you're down. Do the right thing when no one's around. Ooh, we can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. We can change the world. When that day comes for my soul to be freed, I wanna know that I belong in peace into destiny. We can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. We can change the world. Change the world.
Well, welcome to Unity on the Avenue on this glorious, glorious Sunday morning after we had this wonderful snow that brought us the moisture that we need. I want to thank you for being here. We have a special treat for you in honor of Earth Day, and you will hear messages from your peers about their interest, research, and solutions to keep our planet healthy and livable. Later, we'll invite you all to join us. Later, sometime this year, we'll invite you all to join us in taking tours of Denver where the work is being done, such as the wastewater management, the recycling plant, and the landfill, and some other places that will shed light on what's being done to keep Denver livable and clean. So at this time, our first speaker will be Mark, and after his presentation, and after each presentation, I will give you a positive affirmation to take into your heart as we learn about the issues that have come before us, and just know that God is in charge and in the midst of creating a wonderful, beautiful life for all of us. So, Mr. Mark.
Kudos to Penny for putting all this together. She's very organized. I think it's that school teacher in her that's made it real easy to do all this stuff. Anyway, while it seems like it's a daunting task to save our planet, small personal habits contribute greatly to the health of the earth. And I want everybody to be, after today, I want everybody to be able to think about what they can do to be part of the solution. I'm going to give just a couple of the personal habits that I have to try to make the earth a little bit greener. So I'll just go over these real quickly here. First off, I'm always amazed when I take walks with my dog and I see people washing their driveways and their sidewalks with water. I think it's such a waste. I really prefer to use a broom, plus then you get a little bit of exercise. When I shave, I never let the water run. I always shut the water off in between when I'm cleaning my razor. That little bit, I think, saves a lot of water. Whenever I go out shopping, I always make sure that in my car I have several shopping bags so that I don't end up using plastic bags at the store. If you have those bags handy, then you get in the habit of doing that and you'll be a lot more efficient. I never use plastic water bottles anymore. I always try to use metal bottles when I go hiking or when I'm drinking water during the day. Whenever possible, I try to ride my bike. So I do two things. Number one, I don't pollute the air, and number two, I get a little bit of exercise. Even people that can't ride a bike, now that they have electric bikes, everybody can probably ride a bike because electric bikes make it a lot easier. We at the church here now are no longer going to use a gasoline mower. Scott was nice enough to go out to Ace Hardware and exchange our gasoline-powered mower for an electric mower. I didn't realize until I started doing a little bit of research that gas mowers and gas blowers use a tremendous amount of pollution, or put a tremendous amount of pollution in the air. So now we will not only have one that doesn't pollute, but it'll also be very quiet. In my home, I have recycle bins for plastic, and then I also have a recycle bin for organic things. And then I have out in my backyard, I have a recycle bin as well. So nothing goes into the landfill. If I take a shower and the water's not hot, I collect the cold water in a bucket that Penny so nicely gave me, and then I use that for my plants outside. Most of my clothes, although they're always not the greatest, are used from Goodwill or ARC. I love buying recycled things that are in good shape, and also I like to save money. So a lot of my clothes. This shirt is from Goodwill. I also sell used sports gear on Craigslist and Nextdoor, so that all those sporting good items don't fill up the landfill, and it keeps me busy. And I love fixing bikes and reselling bikes, and it also gives me a little bit of income. But I like to recycle stuff. I also volunteer at a nonprofit bike shop, and we refurbish bikes for those kids that are not able to afford bikes, and we go through the school system and the Department of Transportation. So we get kids riding bikes. I guess the bottom line is that I think that all of us should make an effort to be conscious of the little ways that you can do things, and those little ways add up to making our planet green. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Let's go into our hearts and affirm we are good to the earth, our home, and the earth blesses us with good. And our next speaker is Ellen Yu.
Well, I would first of all like to say I forever have been thinking about recycling, repurposing, for as many years as I can remember. But when Penny and Lori offered a spirit group in the Earth Care, I was so excited that I could be part of that, because it means a lot to me to learn more, to find new ways to be a better citizen of the earth. So part of the spirit group is looking for new materials and finding new information. And I was reading some things, and I came across this concept called zero waste strategy. Zero waste strategy. And I thought, this sounds like something impossible, but also something I need to know more about. So what is this? It's a comprehensive waste management approach to reduce waste and material recovery, and to also, with the end goal, to foster a circular economy. What is a circular economy? We have a linear economy where we have resources that we take, we use, and we throw away. That's a linear. Circular is you take the resources, you use them, and then you put them back. You go in a circle. Think of a plastic bottle, water bottle that you use, you recycle it, it gets made into carpeting. It's a circular economy. So that's the end goal of the zero waste management approach. A thing that is real important about zero waste management, or the subheadline to this article I read, was that the landfills are the third largest source of methane in destroying our atmosphere. And what is it in the landfills that causes this? It's the decomposition of organic waste. Not the solid waste, but the organic waste that is causing the methane. And so there must be something we can do about that organic waste, or can we take some actions individually to consider how we are impacting the landfill with our own organic waste. So for me, I think my first step when I was thinking, what can I do, is, first of all, when I consume things, do I really need to consume? Reducing consumption for me is the first step. Buying more food than I can eat, buying large bins of salad that I know will go to waste. So it's rethinking how I shop or what I buy. Increasing recycling. We all know, if you live in Denver, you have the opportunity to have several options. You can have a waste bin, a recycling bin, and a compost bin. So dividing up what you have when you're ready to throw it away into the proper bins is a good step. Promote reuse systems. Buy products that are recycled. Mark gave his example of he buys clothes, but he doesn't buy new clothes, he buys recycled clothes. There are carpeting companies that take carpeting, recycle it into new carpeting. So as you shop or as you consume, just be aware of what you could buy that's actually been recycled. And another thing that can happen is we can promote the banning of products that are harmful to the earth, such as plastic bags. So part of the government infrastructure is looking at ways for people to not be allowed to use things that are harmful to the earth. So just as my final thing is, just consider what you have, what you use. If you're using a Ziploc bag, don't use it once. Rinse it out, use it twice. Just be conscious of that. Compost bins are available in the city of Denver. You might check where you live to see if you can compost. For me, compost is the ultimate circular economy. The food comes from the earth. You use it. Your waste is composted back into composting material that goes back on the earth. So consider being a very active composter as much as you can. And try not to throw that organic waste in the trash. There are lots of resources around to learn more about what you can do. PBS has a wonderful series on right now. You can get it streamed if you have Passport. It's called A Brief History of the Future. And it's a documentary series of our futures and how we can imagine our future with discovery, hope, and possibilities. So there's many things happening that around the world that are very positive, and let's all keep positive on this mission.
Thank you, Ellen. So let's go into our heart space and affirm. I am a spiritual being with a true talent for my right thinking and right living. I am a spiritual being with a true talent for right thinking and right living. And so it is. Next, Miss Donna Lynn.
So, I researched about the Colorado River. From the headwaters of the Lake Pedro Pass, high in the Rocky Mountains, fed by 6 rivers from the west and 4 rivers from the east, including the Gunnison, Green, and San Juan rivers, the Colorado River is a transverse labyrinth of deep canyons and gorges and is called the lifeline of the Southwest. It is the 6th longest river in the United States and travels 1,450 miles through 7 states and 2 nations. The water is used by 40 million people. California's Imperial Irrigation Division uses 4.4 million acres for agriculture, the largest share of that going to alfalfa for cattle. That upsets me. As of March 20, 2014, the river no longer reaches the Sea of Cortez at the Gulf of California and northwestern Mexico. Also called the Vermilion Sea, the Gulf is thought to be one of the most diverse seas on Earth and is home to more than 5,000 species of micro-invertebrates. Climate change, a rising population, and unsustainable consumption of water in the Southwest is threatening the verge of extinction of the Colorado River. Because of the snow and rain this winter, the worry that will be another excuse to avoid difficult decisions downstream. Proposals are being considered to re-engineer or bypass the Glen Canyon Dam to restore a more natural flow to the river, replenishing the ecosystem and allowing endangered species to recover. It would also restore access to lands that are important to 30 different tribes, including the Navajo, Hopi, Zuni, and Pueblo people. In 1966, the Glen Canyon Dam was completed at the Utah-Arizona border. The creation of Lake Powell had environmentalists cautioning that when H2 levels reach a point, the dam could no longer be used for hydroelectricity. As of the end of 2023, the dam is the only at 43% capacity. The 4 huge pipes at the bottom of the dam have been found to have structural damage, and if the lake continues to shrink, the pipes are the only way to get water out of the lake. Being that it is a largely human-caused problem, there are human-caused solutions. The next set of guidelines will go into effect in 2026, as well as recycling rainwater and gray water, and by using water-efficient appliances and drought-tolerant landscape, we must become aware that if each of us are conscious with our water usage, we can turn this water emergency around. Arizona has already made sufficient progress toward conserving water in Lake Mead, which was created when the Hoover Dam was built in 1932. This dam serves the lower Colorado Basin and provides electricity to 1.3 million people in Nevada, Arizona, and California. The result is the lower Colorado River Basin system is relatively stable. Because of voluntary conservation efforts, there is room to negotiate the new set of guidelines in 2026. The environmental impact statement has summarized that more than 24,000 recommendations have been received and identified and anticipated needs and purposes for the waterway. The primary objectives are to improve the sustainability of the Colorado River. Studies on dry cooling technology are being developed, which would use up to 95% less water for electricity. But for now, an extensive system of dams, reservoirs, and aqueducts divert almost the entire flow of the river. The graduate elevation of the flow downstream is used to generate hydroelectricity and is meeting the peak power demands in much of the Intermountain West. And that's that.
The light of God envelops the earth, and environmental conditions are healed and restored. The light of God envelops the earth, and environmental conditions are healed and restored. Our next speaker is Ms. Nina
Morning, everybody. Good to see everyone. My talk is going to be on why the vegan diet is the best option. People choose vegan diets for several different reasons. One is for their own health. One is for the health of the planet. And the other one for the concern about the raising of farm animals and the use of animal products, which is seen to be, kind of like speciesism. My talk today is going to be on for the health of the planet. In 2006, the United Nations said that animal farming is causing a lack of biodiversity, water shortage, change in the air, and water quality. In 2010, the United Nations said the vegan lifestyle would save the environment because in 2050, the world population will be 10 billion people. And when you figure like 41% of the land in the United States is set aside for raising cattle, and only 4% of that is for raising crops for people. When you're raising food for cattle, that's soy and corn, and the soy and corn is not going to feed people, it's going to feed, corn is going to feed cattle, soy is going to feed pigs. And when you figure you are raising livestock, it takes hundreds of thousands of gallons to raise livestock and to raise the corn and the soy to feed these animals, and the return in the amount of usable protein is very, very small. With 10,000 people, or with 10 billion people being on the planet in 2050, this amount of space used for livestock could be used to raise crops and to feed 350 million people. And also the rainforest, 80% of the rainforest is being cut and slashed for more farming of livestock. And all of the animals that live in the rainforest, out of the 40,000 species, 20,000 of those are endangered and close to extinction. To stop the cut and slash of the rainforest in South America would give these animal species a chance to live. Cattle ranching is responsible for 14 to 18% of the greenhouse gas emissions, and that equals more than all the transport emissions combined. There's carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide in the manure, and these are held in big lagoons, which eventually end up going out to the ocean. And all this nitrous oxide, methane, and carbon dioxide is killing the, coral. And also, down in Florida and all along the coast, there's a massive fish kill. The dead fish are washing up on shore because the methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide in the animal waste is depleting the oceans of oxygen. The fish are being killed. And I think in the last 2 years, there's been 556 manatees dying along the Florida coast because of their sea vegetables are dead. There's no oxygen in the water, and these animals are dying. So even 1 day a week to go a vegan, meatless diet would make a big change in the carbon footprint used in the week. Because I guess the vegan diet is not for everybody. Some people cannot handle it. Myself, I was totally vegan for 10 years, and now I'm like, I eat maybe fish or chicken maybe one day a week. So, I mean, I'm kind of like guilt-free as far as, doing stuff for the planet. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if that's all I have or not. I just kind of like, every time I found something. Another thing is the flooding of the coastal cities. There's islands in the South Pacific are going to totally disappear with the melting of the polar ice caps. And also the coastal cities, as the water comes in, those people are going to be moving inland more. So anyway, this is something to definitely think about, adopting a vegan diet, which is definitely for the planet. And thanks for letting me speak today.
Thank you. Okay, as we go into our heart and focus on the affirmation. I am a caring friend to the environment. I am a caring friend to the environment. Okay, Ms. Hustain, you're on.
Thank you. Gave me a wonderful segue right into my area that I'd like to talk to you about. She talked about the flooding of the seawater rise. So I would like to talk to you and spread us out a little bit all over the world. If we look at Scott's little world there, we can see that our world is mostly sea. And so we're going to talk about what the sea is doing right now. So cities in our world that will be underwater in 25 years, by 2050. That's kind of a watermark for all of the scientists. They're looking at 2050 and seeing how our world will change. So I've got 36 cities that I'd like to remind you of. They're all over the world, and they have great populations, and many of them are doing absolutely nothing about the fact that they're going underwater. The one that I'm most concerned about in our USA is New York City. New York City most of it will be underwater in 2050, and they haven't made any plans. Now, there are some cities that have made plans, but there's little doubt that our oceans are rising and the cities will go under. We've developed along coastlines because it was handy for getting food and getting supplies into a city. So urban cities have developed along the seacoast. And it's no longer a matter of when, it is exactly when that based on simple elevation maps that we could predict where the major world cities are most likely to be underwater first. So the world map shows us there's a world map. You can see all the sea level. You can see the part of our world that is land. So the first one I'd like to draw our attention to is Tokyo, Japan. Has a population of 37 million, and they are doing some things about the seawater rise, but not much. Mumbai, India, 30 million people. New York City is number 3 on the list of the largest city that it will be underwater by 2050. New York City has 20 million people. Osaka, Japan has 19 million people. And they're not doing a whole lot right now to plan for the movement of people out of the flood and the seawater rise. Istanbul, Turkey is 15 million people. Kolkata, India, 14 million people. Some of the most of the powerful effects will be seen on the flatter coastal land that abuts the shallows of the large water areas. Those are the beaches. And if these areas are prone to landfall by tropical cyclones, the effects will be further intensified. Among the hardest hit will be the tropical and subtropical river deltas, broad fans of sediment and wastewater where rivers meet the sea. Because such deltas are often the sites of port cities, large human populations will be prepared to significantly higher risks. Hotspots include the U.S. East Coast and the Gulf Coast, Asia, and all the islands of the world. They will be underground. The next slide shows 6 more cities. Bangkok, Thailand has a population of 10 million. The next I want to draw your attention to is Jakarta, Indonesia. It is the only city in this 36-city group that has planned for the movement of people out of the seawater rise. The only. It is the capital of Indonesia, so they've chosen a new capital. And they have plans to move people out, and they are moving people to this inland higher ground so that they will not be in the flood. But most of the cities of the world are doing nothing or doing very little. London, England is number 9. It has 9 million people there. They're not doing anything at all about the seawater rise. Dhaka, Bangladesh has almost 9 million people. Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam has almost 9 million people. Then the number 12th on the list is San Francisco, United States. And there are about 7.5 million people there, and they're not doing much planning. And there are areas of their city that are already affected. Number 13 on the list is another U.S. city, Miami, Florida, with 6 million people, and they are doing things, and they do have a little bit of concern about the seawater rise, but not much. There are no city plans, no municipal plans, no Florida plans to deal with the seawater rise, and Florida is a very exposed area. It has sea all around it. Next on the list is Alexandria, Egypt. Then we go to Sydney. They have 5 million people over 5 million people in Alexandria, Egypt. In Sydney, Australia, almost 5 million people. Then we come back to the U.S. with number 16 on the list is Boston, Massachusetts, with about 5 million people underwater by 2050. Lisbon, Portugal has about 3 million people. It's number 17 on the list. Number 18 is Dubai, United Arab Republic, and they have approximately 3 million people. We move over to Canada. Vancouver, Canada will be underwater by between now and 2050, about 3 million people. Abu Dhabi and the UAE has about 1.5 million people. Copenhagen, Denmark, about 1.5 million. Then we have New Orleans, USA, 1.3 million people. Dublin, Ireland, 1.3 million people. Honolulu, Hawaii, 1.1 million people. I'm just floored by all of these beautiful cities, and not much is being planned for the lives of those people and the health of those cities. There's all kinds of things they need to be concerned about. Wastewater, fresh water, sewage, the grid. The grid is very much in danger, the electrical grid. Then we go over to number 25. Amsterdam in the Netherlands has 1.1 million. Cancun, Mexico has just under 1 million. Copenhagen, Denmark has 853,000 people. Charleston, South Carolina will be underwater by 2050. It has 800,000 people. Macau, China has 661,000 people. Malé, Maldives has about 554,000 people. Long Beach, California will be underwater by 2050. It has about 500,000 people. Savannah, Georgia, about 500,000 people will be underwater. Nassau, the Bahamas will be covered. 385,000 people. Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, 100,000 people. Key West, Florida, 73,000 people. Cockburn, Tennessee, in the Turks and Caicos, 50,000 people. So we have a lot of work to do around the world. This is just not a U.S. problem. Sea level rise and the melting of the glaciers and the ice cap is a world problem. And it's a world problem that is not being recognized. So, I'm thinking about what can we do? What can I do? This is a world problem. I think that the only thing I can do now, I remember back when I used to march, when I used to do placards, when I used to do all of these things that were very physical and big and obvious. Well, I can't do those things as well right now. But one thing I can do, I can write. I can write a letter, and I have shared with you, I have handouts to share with you our state representatives so that you, if you will, you can write a few letters and tell your representatives, your governmental leaders, what you would like them to pay attention to. And sea level rise it concerns us. And why does it concern us? It's because the people in California who are losing their properties and find that the sea is going to cover their house, their beautiful little house, wherever they live on the beach, they're coming to places like Denver, right here. And if you have looked about and seen all of the building of all of the apartments and townhouses and homes all around Denver, we are just being flooded with new construction to house the people who are coming here to higher ground. And think of all of the facilities that we need to help these people. We need water. That's why the Colorado River is so important. We need to take care of all of this sewage that's going to be coming in. We need to have our electrical grid looked at. So all of these things we can remind our representatives to pay attention to pass laws, and to think about what we will do between now, the 25 years between now and 2050. So grab a handout before you leave, and you might want to use this for not only this, but some other things you might want to talk to your leaders about. So thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Justain. Thank you. So as we go into our heart space, our affirmation. The love of God prevails in every aspect of the environment. Right and orderly conditions manifest now. The love of God prevails in every aspect of the environment. Right and orderly conditions are manifest now. So this time we have Lori. Thank you, Lori.
I just want to thank you all for giving us some time to talk about our Earth Care 12 Power Spirit Group. And I would like to begin with having you imagine a world in which the air is cleaner, the water is purer, and our children can grow up without the threat of climate change. We can have a healthier, more sustainable future for all. So I'm going to be talking about global warming, and I know we've talked a little bit about it, but there's so many aspects to it. So there's a little bit of overlap, but some new stuff too. We are already feeling the effects. We are having the rising sea levels, and we're having more severe storms. We're having more wildfires, which affects us here in Colorado especially, and droughts and declining biodiversity, just to name a few. Since the pre-industrial period, it's estimated that human activity has increased our global temperature by about 1 degree Celsius. We're expected to reach 1.5 degrees Celsius by about 2032 to 2050. Best guess is around 2040. So you might be thinking, what does it matter if we raise a half a degree Celsius in the temperature? But the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released a special report in October of 2023, and it states that these higher temperatures will adversely impact increasingly larger percentages of life on Earth. And for some species, it is literally life or death. The overwhelming scientific evidence shows that it is the human activity of primarily fossil fuels and the deforestation that is driving this global warming. So I want to talk about just a couple things that we can do to decrease greenhouse gas emissions. We can talk about educating ourselves, which is so important. This is a great start, but there's so much to it, and there's so much more we can do. The other thing I want to talk about is what are some ways that we can take immediate action to decrease greenhouse gas emissions. The goal for many countries in the world, including the United States, is to reach net zero by 2050. And the important thing to understand about that is we want to achieve a balance between the carbon that is emitted into the atmosphere and the carbon that is removed. Our energy sector is the source of about 3/4 of our greenhouse gas emissions. So what we want to do is to replace polluting coal and gas and oil-fired power with energy that is more sustainable, like water and solar and wind. We've talked a little bit about deforestation. That was the other thing that is a concern for us. And when we remove that, all those forests, and we start clearing it for animals and for agriculture, it causes emissions of greenhouse gases. So like Nina said, the plant-based diet is the best option in that respect. It is actually a proponent of the Fillmores, and I loved her idea, maybe just take one day, a meatless Monday, to try it out. We can also grow our own vegetables, and if you're not the best gardener in the world, you can also purchase things that are local, like your local farmer's market. Nature is going to be our saving grace. It mitigates the rise in our global temperatures, and it also stores carbon. So we want to protect our jungles and our forests and our plant life, as well as our oceans, coral reefs, and our sea life. It's so important. So the second thing I wanted to talk about is that we can take immediate action by looking at our own carbon footprint. I was surprised to find out that Americans we emit about 4 times, I think it's 4 times more tons of carbon per year than the average person in the whole world. So Americans, we have a little bit of room for improvement there. I found a really great tool put out by the Environmental Protection Agency. It's called a carbon footprint calculator. Because when we do our daily activities around our house and our transportation, we emit, the carbon pollution is emitted. So it's important to take a look at that. This particular tool will estimate your footprint. It gives you ideas to reduce emissions, and it will save you money. So it's a good option. So science tells us that the global warming is really all about our human activity. But I think it's really important that we remember, especially here at Unity, we know that we have the power to release old thoughts and habits that no longer serve us, and to make room for new life-enhancing thoughts and behaviors. The activities that we choose to participate in will save lives of future generations. So I talked about a couple ways to create a healthier, more sustainable future for all. And that's going to be to continue to educate ourselves and to take immediate action to decrease those greenhouse emissions. Finally, I want to leave you with a meditation, and this is from Ellen Davenport's 5 Principles. So I just want to invite you to take a deep breath with me. Just relax in your chair and you can rest your eyes. I am on earth to express God as me, a part of spirit in its infinite variations. I am the creator of my experience. What I believe comes to me. What I perceive becomes real. What I know is the creativity that I recognize as God's image in me. We are co-creating together my life, this world, all that is. I play a part, I have a role, and the universe would not be complete without me. The future is mine to design. And so it is. Amen.
So I know some of you are consistent givers. Some of you write checks. Some of you actually bring cash. Some of you use a square in the back. But we want you to know that supporting Unity on the Avenue supports not just this church, but the not-for-profits that we support, Unity Worldwide Ministry, where some of the money goes, and it also goes to help our buildings and grounds do things efficiently. So I invite you to join me in our offertory affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
We are, we've been taught is so bizarre, dependent on another force, when all along we've been the source. Who would you be if you knew who you really were? How would you feel if you could trust your own word? What if you could shine the only way you shine and help the world come alive, like letting go of the hands that feed them. Children, get ready for more freedom, open to a different way where you always know you're okay. Who would you be if you knew who you really were? How would you feel if you could trust your own word? What if you could shine the only way you shine and help the world the world come alive. What would it take for you to like you? I know it can be so hard to do, but what if being all of you, what if being all of you is the world's next breakthrough? Here we go. Who would you be if you knew who you really were? Can I get a clap? Who would you be if you knew who you really were? Clap, maybe? Who would you be if you knew who you really were? We gotta come alive, people. This is the other way we're gonna heal the planet. We can't do all the work these people just talked about without coming alive here. Clap your hands. Who would you be if you knew who you really were? How would you feel if you could trust your own word? What if you could shine the only way you shine and help the world come alive? Ooh. Amen.
So I know some of you still use something called a CD, and if you would like to take some of Rebecca's music home with you, you can do that. She has some in the back. So our blessing for our absent children, you never know whether you're going to have 6 or none. That's the way this world works. So let's bless our inner children and know that we're creating a world that will bless our children. So children, you are loved, special, and important. We see you and bless the divine being that you are. And let's join in our prayer for protection for us and our earth. Together, God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. Join us for lunch downstairs. Awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religions too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I know I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. You may say I'm a dreamer, yeah, but I know I'm not the only one. someday you will join us. Won't you join us in the world?